Hello, Year 8, it's Mrs. Reed here and welcome to today's English lesson. Today we're going to be looking again at text through time. The first thing I'd like you to do though, please, is to recap some of our prior learning. So can you write the numbers from 1 to 4, please, in the margin of your page? And spend 5 minutes working through the questions on the board. Okay, we'll start again once you're done and then we'll self-mark. Alright, so let's have a look at number 1. So we needed to complete the sentence here. It says, the three components of the Aristotelian triad are something, logos and pathos. So well done if you remembered that the first one here is ethos. Give yourself a tick if you got that one right. Number 2, what does vice mean? Okay, so we looked at vice in our study of the Canterbury Tales last term, and we said it's the opposite of virtue. So vice means bad or immoral behaviour. Okay, number 3, what does hubris mean? Again, you should have come across hubris a few times in your learning, whether that's through a study of Greek mythology perhaps, or even through our study again of the Canterbury Tales. So hubris means excessive pride or self-confidence. And what were the connotations of the colour green? We said the connotations were the meanings that we associated with a particular word or idea. So when we looked at colour connotations, we said green had negative connotations and particularly might link to ideas of jealousy or one of the 7 deadly sins, of course, envy. Okay, so give yourself a mark then out of 4. So last lesson I asked you to do some revision and recapping of the Aristotelian triad, and today we're going to focus on one key area, and that is ethos, the establishing of credibility and trust with your audience. Remember, for ethos, your audience will need to believe that you are trustworthy, that you're knowledgeable about your subject, that you're being genuine and you care, and that you are a good person. It's really important when you are writing a speech or a persuasive text of any kind that you are seeking to persuade your audience that you're one of them, that your interests and their interests are really identical. I would suggest that you pause the video here and you make a list of the 4 things that your audience needs to believe that you are in order to create ethos. Okay, so just to recap, one of the ways to create ethos is using personal pronouns. You could use the second person pronoun, the singular form of the pronoun you. You can be a good way of grabbing your audience's attention, showing them that you're talking to them directly, that you care about them. It shows that the audience that you are acknowledging them, which of course is respectful. So if I wanted to show ethos through using a personal pronoun, I might say something like this. This would not have been possible without the hard work that you have put in. You can see if I emphasize that pronoun really heavily, that it says to the audience that I am talking directly to them. Why don't you have a go at practicing this sentence? Say it out loud and then really emphasize the pronoun you. This would not have been possible without the hard work that you have put in. I could also use a plural pronoun. So a personal plural pronoun such as we, random. I could also use a plural pronoun, a personal plural pronoun such as we, us and our. So using these words says to your audience that we are a team, I am one of you. So for example, I might say something like, we all want the same thing. We all want to take care of our environment. Okay, why don't you do the same thing? Why don't you practice saying those sentences out loud and really emphasise the personal plural pronouns we and our. Off you go. Okay, so let's put this into practice with a piece of writing. I would like you to copy this paragraph, which does try to create a sense of ethos. Once you've copied it in full, I would like you to underline, circle or highlight all of the personal pronouns that help to signal to the audience that we are a team of people, we are working together. Pause the video, copy the text and identify the personal pronouns. Okay, so we're ready to self-mark. Let's check. You should have identified 6 personal pronouns in this piece. We have the word our at the start of the sentence. Our community needs this new shopping centre. In the second sentence, we should have had we and us. We need it because it will bring us closer together. In the third sentence, I want to thank you. Okay, that singular form of personal pronoun there. I would like to thank you for all your time today. And in the final sentence, we had you and our. It has been a pleasure working with you to improve our local area. Can you see how this establishes a polite, a friendly, and can you see how this establishes a polite, a friendly and welcoming tone that unites the audience together? Okay, let's build this word into our vocabulary. We want to be able to use it and different forms of it now writing this term. So to unite is a verb and it means to be or become joined or linked in some way. We might unite to bring people together for a common purpose. If you look at the image down here, then we can see this group of people holding hands. And they look like they are one, that they've been united. So the word, the etymology of the word, its history, does come from Latin, meaning one. So I would like you first to write down the word and its definition, please. I'd like you to tell me which sentence the people are united in. I'll read both sentences and then you can show on your hands whether it's sentence 1 or 2. Number 1. The whole class stood together and applauded the show. Number 2. The class bickered and disagreed about who was right. Okay, now's your chance to show, is it sentence 1 or sentence 2? Yep, that's right. We should have been looking at sentence 1. The whole class stood together and applauded the show. That shows that everybody has become one. They're joined or linked together in celebrating the success of a performance. The second sentence would not be a good example of the word unite because people are not united together as one. They are instead arguing and disagreeing. Okay, let's try and use some different forms of the word. We can use the word unite as a verb to say that people have been brought together. We can use a past tense form of that verb, united, or we can create an abstract noun. Remember, we've talked about this in our Mastery Monday lessons. So an abstract noun is a concept, feeling, or an idea, something that is not tangible. It can't be experienced with one of the 5 senses. So we could use unite, united, or unity. There are 3 sentences here for you to copy and complete. Please add the correct form of the word into each sentence. Pause the video and off you go. Okay, so we're ready to check our answers now. Grab yourself a different coloured pen, get ready to fix up as we go, or just tick them off if they are right. Number 1 says the campaign aims to create unity by bringing everyone together to prevent bullying. So this one was our abstract noun. Number 2, the people were united in their aim to clean up the local beaches. We have the past tense word here, were, so united is the best fit. And finally, sentence 3, we should unite and work together to reduce our use of single-use plastic. That was the verb unite. Okay, well done if you got those correct. So we're going to continue now and have a look at one of the speeches that I mentioned in the last video. This comes from a film actually, but it's a really good one for looking at ideas of ethos. It comes from the film Independence Day, and I'm going to go through it with you one section at a time. Okay, let's read the opening then. It says, "Good morning, good morning. In less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world, and you will be launching the largest aerial battle in the history of mankind." Okay, this is a really strong opening for establishing ethos. So my question to you is this: which words or phrases create a sense of ethos and why? See if you can choose 2 and then explain why you have chosen them. You can use the sentence stem below. Okay, so there's a whole number of things you could have picked up here. You might have picked up the polite address of good morning that is repeated twice. You might have picked up on the use of personal pronouns such as you, okay, or the fact that they are trying to unite people and bring them together through making them fight for a common cause. Let's read the next section of the text. Mankind. That word should have new meaning for all of us today. We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. We will be united in our common interest. Perhaps it's fate that today is the 4th of July and that you will once again be fighting for our freedom. Not from tyranny, oppression or persecution, but from annihilation. Okay, some questions to guide us through them. Can you identify any further examples of ethos in this paragraph? Make sure you clearly explain what you have chosen and why below. Another example of ethos can be seen in the line. Make sure you quote it from the text and say why. Okay, so we could have picked up a number of things here, such as the fact that the writer identifies that people can't be consumed by their differences anymore, and that they must be united, they must join together for a common purpose, common interest. You might have picked up some of the other pronouns that you use, such as our, you, and our, repeated again. So going from the singular personal pronoun you to the plural person pronoun our, trying to bring people together and unite them. What other technique is used then at the end? Well, I've highlighted 2 words here, in yellow. But there is something that connects them, a particular device that's used in rhetoric. If you're not sure, you might want to use your knowledge organiser at this point. It can be a good way to go back and check what some of the techniques are and see whether you can apply them to this text. Once you've done that, complete the sentence. The speaker also uses what device to emphasise how significant the issue is. Okay, well done if you realise that the technique here, if you checked in your knowledge organiser, was antithesis. Okay, we can recap that on this slide. So, we talked before about techniques that are used, and in fact in rhetoric we call them a rhetorical figure, and this is any kind of phrase that's designed to be persuasive and memorable and striking to the audience. So antithesis is a really simple rhetorical figure. It says that when you mention one thing, you mention another, and you make sure that the two things that you've mentioned are almost opposites. So an example from Neil Armstrong is that a really famous example of antithesis is the line, "One small step for a man and one giant leap for mankind." In this text then we can see they're saying that you're not fighting just for freedom, okay? It's not freedom from tyranny and oppression, so kind of having your rights taken away and your liberties taken away, but you're fighting for freedom from annihilation. And this is what really signifies to us this is a very serious and significant issue. Yeah, you're fighting for your freedom from death, from being killed.